guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make these adorable reusable kitchen wipes or kitchen roll, whatever you want to call them. These are something I've been using for probably about a year or two now, and I love them. They're just easy to use, really handy to have, and if you're looking at being creative but you're not sure what to do, these are a great project to get started with. So let's get started. So before we get started, I want to run through some of the tools you're going to need for this project. First is your sewing clips or pins. I'd prefer sewing clips, they're easier to use, but you can use pins. A chalk marker or some kind of fabric marker, pair of scissors, tape measure, your fabric, and I'm using snap button fastenings and the tools to go with it. These are optional, you can just make these solo without them actually attaching, but I'll show you how to do that later on if you're interested. So before we get started, because I'm using a fresh tea towel, I'm just going to cut off all the kind of like rough edging that's already folded in and neat, just so then you don't have any kind of bulk within. So you don't have any bulk to deal with. So this might cause a little bit of a mess, but you should be okay. It will clear up really easily with a vacuum or even just a wipe. So once you've done that, you want to then move on to your other fabrics that are going to be on the other side and iron these. Next, we want to know how many squares we can get from our tea towel that make it right to match our fabric. So I'm going to go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to go for roughly 8, so they're going to measure around 9.5 inches by 6 inches in total. So I'm going to get these cut out first, then going to cut them out over in my fabric, and then we'll move on to the next step. So basically all I'm going to do is fold this in half, like so, and I'm going to cut down this middle just to get it nice and even. You can measure it a bit more accurate if you want, but it doesn't have to be perfect and it doesn't have to be pretty, because you can even everything up once you start sewing. So just run your scissors down the fold of the tea towel, or you can use a towel. It depends if you're using something you've got left over or you're buying something fresh. I didn't have any left over, so I bought this one from Poundland. So then I'm going to do the same again, but fold it that way. Cut down the spine of the fold, like so. Just get rid of that little bit there. And then you'll see that I've got 4 pieces all separate, and then I'm going to do the same again, fold these two to create a smaller rectangle that way, cut down again, and the same for this piece. So now we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 pieces in the tea towel fabric, which I've put to one side. As you can see, it's making a lot of mess, but I'm just going to vacuum that up later. So then I'm going to match this up. I can get 2 out with this piece of fabric, which is great. So just simply cut down the centre, like so. So then you've got your 2 sides, which is your tea towel inside and your cotton fabric side. So we'll put them to one side and do the same for this one. So I'm just going to roughly cut these out, following the shapes of the tea towel in fabric. So like I said, they don't have to be perfect by any means. So 4 and 5. So as you can see, you'll have your cotton side is dirty at the minute from all the dust and bits from the tea towel. So you'll have your cotton side and your tea towel side. Then you simply just want to put the right sides together. So for me, this is the right side. As you can see, that's the wrong side. So put those together and clip in place. So I'm going to show you something. I'm going to do a clip on this edge and this edge. And between these two clips I want to keep this part open, so then you can turn it the right way through once you've sewn it together. So we'll clip all around the edge. So once you've got it clipped together, take to the sewing machine and sew with 1/2 inch around the edge. So once you've got your pieces sewn together, I just like to trim the corners and trim any excess fabric you can see around the edges. So if you cut the corner at a diagonal, and that just gets rid of the bulk around the corner, so it's, when you turn it through, it sits nice and flat. And then it look a little bit like this. So then you've still got your open edge just here, and we'll need to keep it open still for when we turn these through. But go ahead and trim the rest of your corners and fabric pieces ready to iron and turn through. So when you're chopping your corners, be careful you're not cutting into your actual seam, just because then that'll weaken the seam and you have to sew it up over again. And you don't want to have to do that. Doing it once is enough. So now you want to start turning through your pieces to the right way around. Just through that hole like so. You have to make sure you point through all your corners. You can use your fingers, or you can use the end of your scissors just to get that corner nice and pointy, like so. So turn them all through and then we'll iron them. So once you've turned those through, take them to the ironing board and iron them nice and flat. When you're ironing, make sure you tuck your raw edges in and kind of press those down in place, and then you can top stitch those once they've been ironed. But it just gives you the nice edge that you need to kind of keep it in place. And I'm just going to pin that. Once I've pressed it, I'm going to pin it just to hold it. So I'm going to take it to the ironing board, it's all ready to go. Oh crap. Numpty. So as you can see, I've got all my pieces pressed and ready to top stitch in place. I'm going to top stitch them just because it makes them a little bit more durable when you're washing and using them, and it means that the seams on the inside are kind of like locked in place with the seams on the top. So now you've got all your pieces sewn and they are complete and nice and tidy. The next thing I'm going to do is put in the snap fastenings. If you don't want to do snap fastenings, you want to leave them as such, then you are done. But if you do want to do the fastenings, I'm going to show you how to do them now. So first things first, let's open these up. So for each one, you need to have 2 of the pointy ones, and then 1 of like the sinking, and then 1 of the other ones. I can't remember what they're called now. Yeah, 2 caps, 1 socket, and 1 stud, or 1 stud, 1 socket, that way around. So I'll show you my instructions. I'll leave a link to the set that I got in the description below, so if you're looking at getting snap fasteners or wanted to try some, this was really good because it came with everything, including the instructions and the actual tool. So I'll leave a link in the description for that. So I'm going to line up 2 sets for the first go. So I'm going to be doing 1 and 2, so they're going to be like that. So first things first is we're going to want to make sure that we have our holes made, and you simply make it with this little tool, poke it through like so. Might be a bit harder just because you do have 2 layers to go through, so you won't be able to see, but it's through, and then you put the little socket on, and then you simply just press down with your tool, so that will hold it in place. So you want to do the same again on this side. I'm not really measuring because this is really quick for me, but if you want to make this a bit neater, you can measure, do the same one, so you're doing another socket, line that into your machine and press down, give it a good squeeze just so you know it's really gone in, and that's your first 2 done. So then if you're lining it up onto this one, you want it to press on this way, so then you want the stud to be up on this side like so, so then they overlap like so, and that's how you'll carry on doing each one. I've got that in place. And then press, and we're done. So I'm going to make sure that lines up with that one, which it does, and then we're just going to do the same with this side. Make sure it kind of lines up just even a little. Give it a good squeeze into place, and then that should snap. So then they should all start lining up like so. So we'll carry on and do the rest. So as you can see, I've managed to get all mine fastened together, and I'm really pleased. You can use a tube or something to roll these up, or I'm simply going to roll them. Oh, that one's come undone. Like so. And then you'll just be able to pull one off, use it, and there you go, all done. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been helpful. I hope it's been fun. I'd love to know how yours came out and how you got on. I will leave links to this in the description to all the kind of tools I use and everything else you might need to know. And make sure you check out the rest of my videos. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.